Three, two, one. Did you like that?
Yeah, the
uh,
sigh.
yes, because this is going to be a very interesting conversation. Hi, everybody, and welcome to the Philly Fan Radio. Holy shit, Dan, we haven't recorded anything in a while because, well, the news has been very pathetic and quiet lately. Thank goodness that the AJ shit is behind us. Hopefully, I mean, joint practice. Who gives a crap? Dan,
Mm,
first of all, and the reason that we're doing this recording is training camp is coming up here at the end of the month of July in about 2 weeks. Actually, 2 weeks from today, official starts July 28th. And then the ESPN QB rankings came out, and I think Dan and I are going to rip the shit out of this and this entire recording. Dan, I don't know where to start.
Well, I guess as you said, training camp is right around the corner, which is a great thing because that means the NFL is finally back.
9 weeks, 9 Sundays.
9 Sundays. Well, we get some exciting preseason action before that.
That shit's boring. Come on. I mean, you see some of the starters in preseason,
The
right? Just a very
sarcasm.
fraction. The most interesting thing is probably going down to the link and watching one. I think there's actually only one home game.
Yeah, there is because they're supposed to have what is it, nine home games this year instead of eight in terms of the regular season because it's offset. So
Yeah, and one London game.
yippee.
Yeah, thought about
I,
going, but anything. All right, let's get back to training camp. Dan, first of all, I saw BG's press conference. He said if he is not on the roster by training camp, he's retiring. Thank goodness that don't go anywhere else. Not that you're retiring, but I don't want to see you anywhere else. Do you think BG's going to be on the roster?
I mean, I would. I don't understand why the front office hasn't extended that offer, to be honest with you. So he wasn't a part of the mini camps, which because he wasn't under contract. I'm surprised because at the end of the season, he was the most consistent and most productive player that we had on the defensive line. So uh, there's really no reason to not bring him back at this point. He says he's got interest. It's clear that he still has a lot in the tank. So, and we'll go into like positions of worry this year. But I think that without him, their defensive line is significantly less productive, let's say.
Well, Dan, let's talk about this a little bit. First of all, why hasn't BG been signed? And I think it's going to happen. I think the discussion is happening. They are evaluating, and let's bring the guy in. I mean, listen, I would bring him in for more morale stuff, and his productivity is excellent. I mean, we saw at the end of the year that he was probably one of the best defensive players out there because he was constantly still, and he still made an impact.
Yeah, you're right. And they even shifted him inside the defensive tackle a lot when Carter was down, and he excelled in there, So, because he's a bigger guy, he's bigger than your standard outside linebacker. And so that provided another aspect. I don't see a reason why they shouldn't sign him. They definitely should have these conversations. I really hope, I mean, you only got 2 weeks that they do sign him. And we can't forget that he was that productive basically coming off his couch. There was no training camp, there was no nothing for him last year.
Yep.
So he came off the couch and was immediately one of the more productive members on defense.
Dan, is there any position here going into training camp that you are concerned about? And first of all, we know it's not the QB, and wide receiver core is stacked right now
Mm.
with players. But is there any that you are concerned about?
Yeah, so last year we had cornerback. Our second cornerback was a risk because we had Adoree Jackson. We were talking about Keely Ringo, who I hope doesn't make the roster. But this
He
year,
is just because of you.
yeah, I know. They're just to aggravate me.
They're going to bring him in special teams. But anyway,
But I am worried about the pass rush again. I really am because they don't have an established game record as a pass rush. So, I mean, they signed Grenard, who was good on the Vikings. I never saw why they gave him so much money. His stats didn't back up what the money that they gave him, especially considering now he's going to be the full-time starter. I've made it clear I've never been a fan of Nolan Smith. I don't think he's that good. He's a one
He was
type of
good when he came
move.
back for a little bit of time, but then he got injured again. So
Yeah, well, the problem with him is that I think he's a one move type of guy. He's a speed rusher. Okay, so he doesn't have a counter move. You know, you saw people like Dwight Freeney, they were speed rushers, but they also had that inside spin. So you're going to need multiple ways to beat a tackle in this league. So I'm not a fan of his. Jalen Hunt is a good player. Great? No. So I don't like the fact that we don't have somebody that we can say is going to line up there and consistently be that guy who you have to double team. We do have good defensive tackles, you know, with Jordan Davis, and hopefully Jalen Carter doesn't hold out. But again,
from what I read, he isn't. He is what in the final year of his contract, right?
yes, yeah. Well, they can
So
give him, like, they can exercise a 5th-year option, but I don't think they
yeah,
are.
I don't think they would do that because then he'll just hold out, just be a bad taste. I think Howie's a
Mm-hmm.
respectable guy that's going to make this happen. Do you think there's any opportunity or stuff going on with Max Crosby?
I would love to say that there's stuff going on with Max Crosby, but it's been like eerily quiet. I
Doesn't mean there
everyone
ain't a move.
well, everyone's gonna hate it, but I would have straight up traded Jalen Carter for Max Crosby. I would have, because I don't like the idea of paying top dollar for 2 defensive tackles. You know, you're paying top 5 money for 2 players on the interior of your defensive line. I don't like that, especially since everyone's so high on Jalen Carter, and I believe he is a good player. But I've yet to see him take that step where everyone's saying he is the best defensive tackle. Everybody, when he came out, was comparing him to freaking Aaron Donald. I haven't seen even close to that. So I don't agree with that analysis. And if we could get an elite established pass rusher who has done it, continues to get better, then I would have done that if it would have been accepted. I mean, they would have been stupid to not accept it, being, you know, Oakland, Vegas, whatever the hell you want to call them. But, you know, I would have done it.
I think I would have definitely done it. I know there was all this speculation, Nolan Smith. Hell, I would have done Carter and Nolan if that was the case. I do like Carter. I mean, people were going to bitch about us saying, you know, get rid of Carter. We're not saying get rid of him, but if the opportunity arises and we had to give up some player, I would Nolan Smith. Yeah, and if there was a draft pick in there that we had to give up, sure. Yeah, listen, I think Max Crosby at 28 years old, he's going to be still productive.
Yeah, and everybody could say that, oh well, Baltimore failed the physical. That's why he wasn't traded. He's got problems. I think that was all bullshit because they
I think
signed.
buyer's remorse.
Well, yeah, exactly. They signed Trey Hendrickson within like 24 to 48 hours after that. So
Yep.
obviously they saw the contract and they're like, no, we're going to back out of this. It's like, I like to
I've never
call it
seen that though. I have never seen or paid attention to that of somebody backing
well,
out of a high valued player like that made all this noise.
not a trade, but I will jog your memory to the Frank Gore episode when he was an Eagle for about 15 seconds. He was an agreed upon Eagle, and then all of a sudden, because it was only verbal, he's like, yeah, I'm out.
Yeah, but he said that in this case, you
Yeah,
know,
yeah,
Max Crosby was all in on it and a little upset. He didn't fail. He was out actually afterwards. He was playing some hoops and shit like that. Be
yeah.
like, there ain't nothing wrong with my knee.
Yeah, it was all BS. Like you said, it was buyer's remorse. It was just sugarcoating it with a fake injury.
Yep. Are there any? I mean, obviously the corners are still always a concern. We'll see how Vic addresses those, being that we understood it going into the season, and that's where Ringo and Adori were. Yeah, Ringo got to the special teams. We'll see how those are addressed. What are your thoughts here on Cooper DeJean and his move?
So I like him being on the field as much as possible. So even if they're going to go 2 corners with Woolen and Mitchell, I'm okay with him being on the field because he's still a solid tackler. But if we're going to go into the conversation of saying, okay, maybe he's going to become a full time safety, which I haven't heard Vic say, but there's been like inklings of he's going to play safety more, maybe even in nickel packages. I'm not a fan of that. I think he is by far the best cover nickel corner in the league. And you do not take that ability away because for years and years, the Eagles were destroyed by slot receivers. Every single slot receiver was looking like Edelman and Wes Welker. And yet, with the signing or with the drafting of DeJean, it finally was done and over with. So I would not move him away from nickel corner, not in a significant
Yeah.
amount.
I think, yeah, full. If they put him as a safety or whatever out there full time, I think that would be a huge mistake. He has been very impactful player, and just just his aggressiveness. I mean, go back to the Super Bowl year of how well he, and then last year, and then Quinyon Mitchell, like those guys actually. So when they stepped into this, so here's the thing that I see is that when they stepped into this in their role, they're producing at a top five talent right now. Now the concern is the only way to go. Can they stay there? Is they're going to have a bad year here and there? We understand that. But if they keep, do they have to? No, but you always predicted that it's going to progress like that. I think, first of all, they should keep Cooper DeJean where he's at, but maybe there's something that Vic sees. I mean, we knew Vic was talking about his retirement, but he said that was BS. He goes, I talk about that every year. People are blowing that shit out of
Mm-hmm.
proportion.
Yeah, and we could even go off in a different direction. And with the Jalen Carter thing, is you just paid top dollar for Jonathan Grenard. You paid top dollar to Jordan Davis. Are you really going to be able to take a huge contract that probably will pay him most of any defensive tackle, meaning Jalen Carter, when you in a year or two have to pay Quinyon Mitchell and Cooper DeJean? I don't think you're going to be able to afford that because Mitchell and DeJean both are going to demand top 10,
Oh,
top
yeah.
5 corner money.
Yep.
So I would, again, to not go too far off that rabbit hole, but I wouldn't pay Carter that top dollar because I would down the road say we need to re sign Mitchell and DeJean without impacting the offense, which means we'd have to take money from somewhere else.
And then if you look at that, and I think I understand people's concern keeping Carter and paying him top dollar, just like you said, you have to do it. But think about the AJ situation where we have so much dead cap space
Mm-hmm.
because of that. Now, are we going to have to because they're going to complain and other? No, they're probably not going to be an AJ Brown in the future. But at the same time, you can't get rid of him, or you got to trade, and somebody's got to take on that hit themselves, and he has to produce at that same level.
Yeah, exactly right. I'm not saying let's get that out. I'm not saying just trade him for the hell of it. I'm saying I would trade him for Max Crosby, and I personally would not sign him to a long term contract at top dollar. Now, if he's saying I want top two defensive tackle money, I would rather just go with Moro Ojomo and ride with Quinyon Mitchell and DeJean because if I look at this
Yep.
team, I feel that Quinyon Mitchell and DeJean have a bigger impact and determine the outcome of a game more than Jalen Carter does.
I would have to go back and look at the tape and see some of those. I mean, obviously, the first game didn't count last year for him. So
But think
yeah, I
about it.
don't know.
But
Is he
think about
is he having
previous
that much of
years.
a Well, if I think about it, I look at it, I mean, how much impact have he had? He's had some impact where it has been notable. And when I say notable, he's didn't Carter do the two blocked field goals? And, didn't we do two in the, was
I
it
think it
Carter or
was Jordan
Davis?
Davis. No, I was
Oh,
talking more about Mitchell though. I mean, you're
oh, yeah, yeah. Oh, you
think about
mean
the
see the
impact.
impact of Mitch? Oh,
Yeah, what I'm
100%.
saying is that Mitchell is
Oh,
more impactful and determines the outcome of game more than Jalen Carter does.
oh, yeah.
Oh,
But
okay. All
here's
right.
the thing. But okay, yes, but here's the thing. If we had an excellent pass rusher, it wouldn't rely upon Mitchell and Cooper to do all their work and our corners because they would be getting there and they wouldn't have to hang on. But they have done an excellent job with what we've had.
No, and I agree. But when I think of Quinion Mitchell and the idea of not being able to afford him, it just makes me
Oh,
think
we're
of
screwed.
yeah,
Yeah.
exactly. Because I mean, we won a Super Bowl with Ronald Darby and Jalen Mills as our starter corners. Get out of here with
The
that.
Green Goblin for you, man.
No, and since then we have been shuffling in and out
Yep.
corners that have been relatively subpar, and we've had to rely on a significant pass rush. Now with Quinion Mitchell and hopefully Woolen, we don't have to rely on that significant pass rush because, to be frank, it wasn't there last year.
No,
The pass
no,
rush
not
was
at all.
not there last year, and it was only
Yeah.
because of how good Mitchell and DeJean played that we were able to hold up on the secondary at all.
Yeah, and finally get home. Okay, Dan, is there any other position, and we've talked about defense significantly on this, or is there any other position going into training camp that you are concerned about, or even one side of the ball?
Well, so offensive scheme is going to be the big
Oh,
thing. How is it? How is it going to look? I am not worried from a potential standpoint of the offensive line. I'm worried about a health standpoint because if they're healthy, it is one of, if not the best offensive line in football. But we saw the trickle down effect last year with just Dickerson going down, you know, friggin' Jurgens going down, Lane Johnson going down. So if they could stay healthy, great. But will the offensive line stay healthy?
if they say, okay,
Mm,
let's just say, assume that the offensive line stays healthy, and you're talking about the scheme of things. Sean Mannion,
mm-hmm.
first, everybody's got rave reviews, but we'll see how this actually plays out. I don't know. First of all, I am concerned on their offensive line only from last year. I don't know how they are looking now. They could look great going into preseason and, obviously knock some rust off. But it's the scheme itself or the offensive play calling that might be more of my concern than the players.
Yeah. So I've always said though, with a good scheme, you you could scheme players open, okay? For the last few years, we've relied on one versus one. Our guys are better than your guys, and it won us a Super Bowl. It got us to another Super Bowl because the fact was is that our roster is better than your roster. And our roster could very well still be better than most rosters, but if we could just get someone that could scheme them open, it would just be crazy because it would make the offense that much better. Now, Mannion has got good reviews and everything, and you hear about, oh well, Jalen Hurts threw an interception on pass number 5 when he was in shorts. Oh God, we're gonna have a rough season. Jesus Christ! So
Fucking
you know,
Philly media.
yeah, the overreaction of everything is just crazy, but it's the scheme is going to dictate everything. Can it look worse than last
Yeah.
year? I don't know if it could,
Uh,
but
I don't know. Hey, it could look worse than last year. But let's just hope it does. I mean, what is Spatula doing?
well, you know what's going to not be the same this year? We're actually going to see full effort out of our wide receiver core.
That is
Shocker.
right. The shocker is we're going to see our wide receiver core. We've never seen Devontae Smith give anything less than 110% out on there. And he has put on some weight, thank goodness, because I was always afraid something's going to break. He's put on muscle, let's just say.
Mm-hmm.
He's still fast. He's still aggressive up there, whatever it is. He is the number one wide receiver, hands down. I think we are going to have a huge internal competition at the wide receiver positions because we are stacked at them. I mean, are we going to get open? Is it going to be better offensive play calling? Time is going to tell. In fact, only the first game is going to tell.
Yeah, and it's going to take a little bit, but the good thing is that I think that we can both agree that our defense is going to be good enough to carry our offense until the offense finally gets its feet wet.
Yep, until they get into their groove.
Mm-hmm. Right. And
Yep.
and we're going to have great competition at the wide receiver position, but the good thing is that we're not going to have competition of a bunch of bums out there. We do have
No,
good
not at
players.
all.
I mean, we got Hollywood Brown. We got our guy Lemon that was just drafted. We have Dontavian Wicks, who they gave
Wicks.
another year on their contract. So apparently they're high on him. He is a good player, but he's been plagued with drops. So, but maybe they can fix that. I don't know.
Makai Lemon.
Yeah,
Are we
Makai
going to see
Lemon.
him right out there right away? I mean, I think we should see him. I think we should go stacked with 4 out on it and let's see how they do.
Why not? I mean,
Right?
Brown is a burner, so I think we have a good mix in there. And
As long as we don't do 4 verticals, we're at the start. Oh, I think we're all good.
I don't think 4 verticals is going to be called one goddamn time this year, and
If there
I'm gonna
is,
be
we're
fine
all
with
gonna
it.
be. What would be funny though if we did 4 verticals and it was a home run, like literally a touchdown right away, but with a little
Either
scheming.
either that, or it's going to be like 3rd and 25, and we're going to run 4 hitch routes.
I'm okay
That's
if I never see another
Yeah,
hitch route,
exactly. I
Dan.
don't want to see a
Uh,
comebacker. I don't want to see a hitch route.
I
I
want to
don't.
see some inventive shit. I want to see him drawing up things on a freaking napkin, going, "All right, here's what we got to do. We're gonna do this," and I want to see the team go there. I want to sell. I'd love it if he came out and called the Philly special right away, just to be a
How
smartass.
about a goddamn crossing pattern? Just
Oh my
one
god,
crossing pattern,
natural
for Christ's
pick.
sake.
How about one of those?
Yeah, exactly. Everybody runs it but us.
Yeah, well, and you know what I want to see have the best year? I want to see Saquon have one of his top years again. I want
Mm-hmm.
to see him get and break free for 10 yards every single time. I would be happy. Not this get hit in the backfield. That's an offensive line issue going on. That's a schema issue. That's a delay. They've already seen it, whatever it is. I want to see Saquon start to have a breakout season again.
Yeah, and I think Saquon is probably the least anybody's concerns on offense because we know he's going to bring it. It's just that offensive line. I mean, the
Yep.
fact that he ran over 1,000 yards last year is
Is
unbelievable
amazing
considering,
because
yeah, he got
that
destroyed in the
line
backfield
sucked.
every time. Yeah.
Yeah, and we saw that so many times. And I don't want to see Hurts doing a little slow run out and falling or getting hit on the thing. I don't mind. I'd love to see him under center. None of the shotguns. I want to see a couple more of those. I want to see some maybe wildcats, some scheming shit, whatever it is, a jet sweep, whatever. But just do something besides the 4 same plays again.
Yeah, and how about we even go back a little bit towards the RPO? The RPO was basically the one thing that won us the Super Bowl on offense, and
Yep.
we were told last year, oh, we're not going to run the RPO that much because we don't want to become predictable. Well, you were predictable last year in the fact that you were running horse shit every single play. So,
4 plays. Yeah, I had 4 plays.
mm-hmm.
Some hitching, some verticals. Yeah.
You ran a
And
slant route to AJ Brown.
yep. And that
That
was
was it.
like the go-to, and then maybe a check down the Goddard every once in a while. And Saquon, you always get Saquon, always got hit in the backfield. All right, Dan, I'm going to transition because we're going to need the rest of our time to talk about
Mm.
the stupid ass ESPN QB ratings that came out. So before we run down the entire list, I'm going to give you your rant time after you saw this. I want to know. This is going to be fun. I want to know your feelings when I saw this come out. I'll tell you mine after you do. What when you saw where Hurts was ranked after all our discussions and all our recordings on the disrespect that this guy gets, even though he's been to 2 Super Bowls, MVP, won a Super Bowl, and he's got a freaking winning record. And I'm gonna put you on the timer. Just kidding. Dan, what were your thoughts?
I thought it was a joke, to be honest with you. I figured this was just like a satire thing, or it was written by a columnist who clearly had an axe to grind. But then you read it and it's like, oh, well, it's coaches, execs, all these people. It's an analytical thing of how they voted. It's fucking ridiculous. Okay, let's get it out of the way. The fact that Hurts is ranked as the 17th best quarterback going into this year is a disgrace, and it's an embarrassment. I understand everybody's so stuck up on, he doesn't make this throw, he doesn't read this, he doesn't make that throw. Well, it doesn't matter. Everybody has their own deficiencies, and Hurts is not the 17th best passer or best quarterback in the game right now. It's a joke. And the people that they put above him, it's fucking travesty that he's even in the same conversation as them because they've never done anything in the league. The best they've done is maybe have one good year that probably was even not on par with Hurts because do we forget that Hurts was a runner-up MVP? Everybody wants to talk about these accolades. He was the Super Bowl MVP, and everyone says, oh, well, it's a team achievement. He went to another Super Bowl. Oh, it's a team achievement. He's got these good stats, touchdown interception ratio. Oh, it's because his roster's loaded. He's got he made the Super Bowl. Oh, it's because they had Saquon Barkley that year and he ran for 2,000 yards. How many excuses are we going to go down? Oh, wait, he's got a top-notch offensive line, so that's the reason why he could throw the ball downfield and be one of the most accurate passers in the league is because he's got time to pass the ball. Yeah, because that's really dictating how he can accurately throw the ball. It's a joke. It's fucking stupid, and I can't stand it because I have never been like the biggest Hurts fan, meaning I think he's a good player, but the fact that he is winning and all he does is win, despite what's going on, is just ridiculous that we are not talking about him as a top 10, maybe not a top 5, but a top 10 quarterback in the league. And for execs, for coaches to say this, I want to know what the hell they're looking at because before I end my rant, I want to know if you're picking a roster, you got Brock Purdy in one hand, you got Jalen Hurts in one hand, you've got, with Brock Purdy, you got Caleb Williams, you got friggin' Jordan Love. What have those guys done to justify being in the same conversation as Jalen Hurts? And I don't want to hear it. Okay. Go.
Okay, first of all, I have the same feeling as you. And one of the biggest things that when I saw this is 17, right? It was a graphical thing. It popped up on the feed. It said, he's 17. I'm like, can I even name 17 or 16 other QBs out of the
Exactly.
Can I actually remember who these are? First of all, I think this is so disrespectful. Execs, coaches, all the other people, it's favoritism. That is all that. They are looking at the wrong stat. They are looking at, how many receiving yards or whatever it is, blah, blah, blah. First of all, I think win-losses should be the number one thing to consider because without a QB, right, a team can still score points, right? Defense can do a turnover, special teams can get it, blah, blah, blah. They can get it. But there is a 10% chance without a good QB that you're actually going to win the game. You look at Hurts, you look at his record. Last year, what was it, 14-3?
They only won 11
No, not last year. The year before was 14-3. This
Oh,
year
yeah,
was
yeah.
11-5.
Mm-hmm.
Sorry, I got both stats here that I want to. The biggest thing that it just a smack in the face to Jalen Hurts is that Jaden Daniels, who only 7 games last year, is ranked what? What are we on this list? He's like 15. No, he's 14 out of it or something like
17, 13, man.
13. Okay. Last year he was 2-5, a 60% completion. He only had 1,262 yards out of it. Only 7 games. He is ranked above it. Now, if you are going to the season before, if you're going in the actual 2024-2025 season, yes, that was his rookie. He did great. He was with the Commanders still, blah, blah, blah. He was 12-5. Jalen Hurts was 14-3. And, okay, he missed 2 games. So Jalen Hurts only played 15 games out of the 17. His rating, his stats on all of this stuff it's just... It's so weird that they're winning and he was in there. So if you took that and you took that down, okay, what would he be? 12-3 and, still on there. I don't understand how Jalen Daniels is ranked above the Jordan Love, Brock Purdy. All right, so going on this, even Dak Prescott. If you go through this list, first of all, let's run through this list, Dan. Josh Allen. Let's just say the top 5 for right now. We got Allen, Mahomes, Stafford, Burrow, and Jackson. Dan, is that correct in the top 5? Do you feel that they're up there?
Yeah, you
I
know
give.
what? I honestly can't argue with it. I can't.
I don't feel
But
that Burrow and Jackson should be in the top five.
well, I think Jackson. Well, okay, so this is where it becomes a hypocritical thing. You were absolutely right, and let me explain why I think it's favoritism. Okay, whenever you hear of Lamar Jackson, everybody talks about not just his passing, but his rushing ability. Okay.
Mhm.
Everybody talks about he's got this many rushing yards, he's got that many, he's this dynamic, blah, 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 blah. But when they talk about Jalen Hurts, nobody brings up the fact that he's got 10 plus rushing touchdowns every year. He's got, I don't know, 600 to 800 yards rushing. So nobody brings that up. Nobody gives him credit for that, mainly because of the tush push. But regardless,
Yep.
if you're going to include Lamar Jackson's rushing statistics in his full body of work and then say he's a top 5 quarterback, then Jalen Hurts' rushing statistics need to be applied to this conversation, and they're clearly not. So I think that Lamar Jackson is, if I'm including his rushing statistics, yes, because he's that dynamic, I think he is a top 5. And I think Joe Burrow is a top 5, but I think that this is also a different thing of favoritism because he doesn't get penalized for the fact that he's got 2 receivers that arguably are in the top 10 in the league. And arguably, the one receiver is the best receiver we have in the league. So I agree with the top 5.
All right. I'll give you the top five. Would you agree that Dak Prescott is number 6?
No, no.
He
Because
missed
again,
9 games last year, by the way. Missed 9.
I'm
And
not
he
even
is
going to
number
get.
6.
I'm not even going to say his injuries. I'm going to throw the injuries out the window. A healthy Dak Prescott. What has Dak Prescott won in this league to justify that he's above everything? I mean, Lamar Jackson's got MVPs. Burrow made a Super Bowl. Mahomes, we know. Josh Allen, we know. Stafford was the MVP this year. He's won, 2 Super Bowls now. So how can you justify putting Dak Prescott in that conversation when Dak Prescott's had some damn loaded rosters? So anybody who wants to say
He can
that
have the
he
loaded
didn't.
rosters, but he sucks.
Exactly. It's not like he's throwing a bums out there. I mean, there was a time that he had Amari Cooper, Michael Gallup. He had Ezekiel Elliott in his prime. He had CeeDee Lamb.
Yep.
He had a top 5 offensive line, and that was in one season. That was one season he had that. He had it for multiple seasons, but in that one season, he had all those players all in their prime. And what happened? He lost in the divisional round of the playoffs. I mean, how can he be given the 6th ranked position? It's a joke.
Because it's by execs, coaches, and all that. And Jerry Jones helped decide this.
But I mean, there's not enough money.
I don't think he should be in the same breath as the top 5, 10, or 15. Even maybe in the top 20, 21, maybe.
I'd say in the top 15. I would say in the top 15.
But if you put him in the top 15, you're putting him above Hurts.
Oh, no. I'm saying this list is completely null and void. I'm saying in an actual list that exists on this plane of reality, Jalen Hurts is above him, but he's still in the top 15.
Jalen Hurts is in the top 10.
Mm-hmm.
Hands down.
Agreed.
Top 10. I think we talked about this. We were going to give him a solid 8 or 9 in the list. Okay,
Yeah.
Dak Prescott is 16th on my list, whatever it is. I think he just misses the cut in any which way. I don't think he is that great because, just like you said, he has had the top offense that he could run. He had the number 1 receivers, tight ends, running back, everything, and yet he could not do anything with it. Was it an offensive line? Or are we just saying that? It's not all on Dak. Well, then why are we saying that this crappy last season? Why is everybody putting it on Hurts? I don't think Hurts gets the respect that he deserves in any year that he has played. Why?
Yeah, and if you want to look at individual accolades, then okay, throw the Super Bowl out the window, throw this out the window, whatever. I don't believe Dak Prescott was ever the runner-up MVP. I don't remember recalling him being the runner-up MVP on any of his seasons. So he couldn't even hold Jalen Hurts' water at this point. It's just, I don't agree with it at all. And I get it. You know, the Cowboys are the love child of the NFL. But, you know, at what point do you stop being biased and you actually look at things from a holistic point of view?
You need a totally, completely independent outside
Mm-hmm.
perspective. Yes, we are, we could be wrong saying that he's within the top 10. But think about it. Even Caleb Williams is above him.
Well, no, I don't think we're wrong in the top 10. You could
You
say
think
we're all,
Caleb?
we
No.
could
Oh, you're
say
saying we're not. Okay.
no, because people will say, oh, well, you're homers, you know, you're Eagles fans.
Yep.
It's not a homer thing to say that your quarterback's in the top 10 when you go down this list and, you know, you could keep going down the list and we'll refute it. Go ahead. You know, after
Well, Caleb
Prescott.
Williams is up there. What has Caleb Williams done? Last year was 5-12. So what stat are we going off of that puts him in the top 10?
Well,
What are
last
you,
year he
6,
made
7, 8, 9, 10? He literally is 10.
last year he made the playoffs and he looked good, but what let's point it out that he had a 58% completion percentage, which was last of the qualifying quarterbacks in the league. Last in starters in this league. I mean, I'm pretty sure that Jacoby Brissett had a higher goddamn completion percentage of 58%.
They were correction. They were 11-6. I was looking off the
Yeah, the
2024 season.
previous
They
year.
made the
No,
playoffs.
I got
11.
where you're going.
But I don't get where he's in it. Sam Darnold. I could give Sam Darnold. Jaden Daniels. No, I
No,
can't.
no, no, no,
Jordan
no, no, no,
Love.
no, 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 no. You cannot say that Sam Darnold should be that high on that list. Well, what is he? Yeah, he should not be the 11th ranked quarterback in the
He's the
league.
11th.
But
No, I'm not saying he's 11th. I think he should be. Okay, I think we need a clarification. Should he be? Let's make this list the top 15.
yeah, go
Okay.
ahead, go ahead. Yeah,
All right, with top 15 because 17 Hurts being put into the 17 is a little thing. I'm saying Sam Darnold being on the list is valid. I'm not saying Caleb Williams should be on the list. Jaden Daniels should be on the higher end of the list. Jordan Love, what the hell did he do that he needs to be on there? Brock Purdy, I think, he's got heart, but his last season was what, 7-2. I mean, what was so
he's always injured, and when he's played,
yeah.
he is a good quarterback. But to rank him above Jalen Hurts, who's pretty much outdone him in everything, then is a crime. It really is. It's
I
not. You
want to know
shouldn't
what
penalize Jalen
stats, what
Hurts.
decision are they making this off of that he is 17? It's not a stat decision. It's a personal decision. That's where it is.
No, you're
Out
absolutely
of,
right.
out of all these stats, everything that we're looking at, every single stat that we have come up on there, Jalen Hurts ranks within the top 10. And
Yes.
half of these should not be in there. Dak should not be in there. Out of the top 10. Go on. Caleb Williams, you're sitting at number 10. You're number 15. Go on. Are we looking at Jared Goff? Is Jared Goff? I mean, how are we with that?
I Yeah, I think Jared Goff is a good player. He falls in the category of Burrow, though, where I say to you that why is he not penalized for having a loaded offense? He doesn't get penalized for the fact that they've drafted really well and they've got
Yep.
great receivers. They've got, well, they had two of the best running backs in the league. So, again, but I think Jared Goff is a legitimate top 10 quarterback in the league.
It's just I
But
I
I'll go
don't
back even down the list real quick. I'll go back down further into the list, and I don't understand why Justin Herbert is the love child of everybody. I don't see it. The guy doesn't win jack shit every year. Everybody says, oh, he's a top 5 quarterback. In this instance, he's ranked 7th, right behind the greatest quarterback in the league, Dak Prescott. But Justin Herbert, I mean, Jesus Christ. I wrote down here, Hurts had 1 touchdown less and 7 less interceptions. Okay, and think about that. Herbert only threw for 1 more touchdown, and Jalen Hurts threw so many less passing attempts because we're a run-based offense. So, and again, we're not counting the rushing statistics because, we can't include them when it comes to Jalen Hurts, but we can include it in everybody else. So,
yeah.
I mean, I don't. that's another one. Justin Herbert, what has he done in the league to justify that he is a top 10? I'm not even going to say he's in the top 10. What has he done to say that he's in the top 10? Him and Caleb Williams should go to a salon, paint their nails, and just be gone of this conversation.
Do not forget Trevor Lawrence. He should go too.
Oh, God, that's another one that's ranked above Jalen Hurts. Get out of here.
So, how? Where? Why? Why is he ranked above it?
I don't know. Why are you asking me? I have no idea.
I love this. We were talking about Herbert versus Hurts, and the stats show that Herbert had 1 more TD and 7 more interceptions, right? And a lower rating. Hurts has a better losing record than Herbert, and Super Bowl. Where is it?
No, and Hurts. I would be interested to know if you have the stats up. Look at how many passing attempts Herbert threw as opposed to Jalen Hurts last year. I'd be interested to know that.
I don't have those. We'll have to. You look at those while I rant a little bit more about some of the things that were on. Where's his stats? Here we go. So let's see. The QB. No, I want the top 20. I'm pulling up the QB top 20 from last year, right? Just as a comparison of where things checked out. Hold on as we pull some of this information. Excuse us, we need some elevator music and also the calm down. All right, as this pulls up, the last thing I do want to talk about, Dan, before we wrap up here in the next 5 minutes is the Tush Push. Because that has actually been a conversation. It was on Kelsey's show. A conversation, is the Tush Push dead? And we're going to pull some stats from 2024 versus 2025. I have some interesting stuff that I want to share with everybody, so hang tight there. Okay, so the top 20, and we're not going to read all these from 2027. Mahomesy, Burrow, and we discussed this. I don't know how, Allen has gone from 4th to 1st this year, which is pretty good. Lamar's on 3rd. Though, here's it. Okay. Jalen Hurts was 5th. Now he's 17. He's coming off a Super Bowl year. He's in the top 10. All right.
How do you go from
Geno Smith was number 10?
Oh, well.
Oh, my God. Are you serious? Stafford, Jaden Daniels was 6, right behind Hurts, which is,
No. I could understand that because Jaden Daniels looked like the second coming
his
of
rookie
God
year.
With that rookie year. Until he got smacked by 30 points.
Interesting fact. Dak Prescott was 17 last year.
Was he really 17 last year?
Yeah.
That's more where he should be. Okay. Oh God, I could go into 15 minutes of this. How do you justify putting Dak Prescott up from 17 to 6 in one season in which Dak Prescott was not that great? He was not lights out last year. He wasn't lights out when he was in the games last year.
No,
so how does that justify going up 11 positions?
Isn't it because they went to a playoff game? I didn't say they win.
No.
Yeah. Trevor Lawrence was 16 last year. Jordan, Brock, Geno, Jared, Justin. Well, the top 10, from last year, Jalen being in there was great. Herbert is number 8 in the list, so, okay. All right, so obviously Dan and I disagree entirely with Jalen Hurts' position in this and a number of other QBs, but we do agree within the top 4 or 5 on the list, right?
Yeah, no, I agree.
So I'm going to say ESPN is full shit.
No, yeah.
Or half full shit.
They should stick their lists to the top 5 players because then they're spot on. But after the top 5 is when you become a joke.
Yeah. Execs, coaches, scouts rank the top. This is a popularity
Scouts
contest.
for what? Scouts for what?
Who
Jesus Christ! Is this the defunct XFL scouts? Is that what we're looking at here?
Yeah. All right, who the hell wrote this article?
This is like the New York, New Jersey hitmen all over again for the XFL. Some people in our podcast will get that reference.
But here, this is funny. In the ESPN thing, it's the top 10 and then the honorable mentions. And that's where Jalen Hurts falls into it. Notice how the honorable mentions stopped after Jalen Hurts, or at Jalen Hurts.
Yeah. I just go down these quarterbacks. I don't see a statistic, even in the eye test, where people like Trevor Lawrence, Brock Purdy, Jordan Love, Jaden Daniels, Sam Darnold, Caleb Williams, Justin Herbert. Dak Prescott, I don't know what you can say. And I hope that people come back at me and tell me that I'm full of shit and I don't know what I'm talking about, because I want some kind of evidence as to why I feel like I'm walking through the Twilight Zone when I look at this list. I can't think of one reason as to how this list is legitimate. Like, I'm trying to fathom
Jeremy
it.
Fowler, who is the writer, the author of this, sucks.
Who usually is he's usually good.
Well, not on this case. I don't know who did he poll? Like, what did he do? Walk up to everybody within the Dallas organization and say, hey.
I was going to say the same thing. Did he go to the oil fields and ask a bunch of guys in cowboy hats where Jalen Hurts ranks?
Yeah. I mean, serious. Like, I don't know where all right. I got to change the subject. We're going to wrap things up. So, Dan, the Eagles Tush Push has been around a while, and it always makes where they're going to vote it out. And I don't think it's been a topic of discussion this year. Why I don't. Here's my reason.
No. You know why it wasn't a topic of conversation? Because the Eagles didn't execute it well.
That's right. Do you think that was on purpose? I mean, we had Sean Mannion. We had the offensive line. I mean, think about this. All right. Let me play devil's advocate. Conspiracy theory, reckless speculation, according to Hugh Douglas. And where's my stat board? Here's my stat board.
Is this going to be like the aliens helped build the pyramids? Is this where we're going down this?
Are you telling me they didn't? Okay.
Yes.
So in 2024, out of 48 attempts, the Eagles converted 39. So an 81% pass, 81% success rate.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. Now we had Petula and the offensive line sucks. It was a combination of how horrible things were on the offensive side of it. With 33 attempts, Dan, I'm going to let you guess how many were successful.
This past year, we had 33 attempts?
Yes.
22.
You're very close, 21. And this is according to Tush Push, FYI, by the way. So
Tush Push. I'm surprised you came up on a football site.
Yeah.
Anyway.
We got to keep this somewhat able to be posted and shared online, folks. We're not going to continue that conversation. Okay. So they were 63%. I mean, the attempts were probably 10, 20, almost 20 down below the average. One, the offensive line, kind of sucked. We had Petula. The execution wasn't there. We saw Saquon get hit in the backfield. We actually saw other teams being able to stop the Tush Push on a number of things. Conspiracy-wise, I do have to speculate that it has not been a conversation at all this offseason on whether they're going to ban it or not at the coaches' meeting. And they're not, because it sucked. But do you think the Eagles have put it quietly to bed, making it suck, and other teams making it successful, so now they can bring it back? Are they going to continue it this year?
I think they're going to continue it, and I think that if the Eagles are overly successful again, it's going to be tabled at the spring meetings to be on the ban list again.
So you think it's going to come back around as a ban if they're successful?
I do think it'll come back around, because they'll say it's an unfair play. Wait, hold on. It's a dangerous play to run, even though there wasn't a single shred of evidence to run against that. So that was
somebody's tush got hurt.
Yeah, exactly.
Or finger or whatever.
Oh, okay.
Uh, so
Yeah.
I mean, like,
Offensive line colonoscopies going on here.
I
All right.
actually wasn't going there. I
Anyway.
was just being like broken finger, but you went there, not me.
Mm-hmm.
I don't, I don't know what you were envisioning, but so do I think, I mean, this year, obviously there's no issues with it. Will the Eagles actually plan on executing it often this year in those situations?
I think if their line is healthy, I think why not? It is shown to work. I think we got to see a little bit what coming off of that, some sweeps and some interesting things that
Yes.
came off of it, which I think was good.
Those were awesome. I mean,
Mm-hmm.
like, literally, I'm not sure who the hell drew those up. The kid in the parking lot, and he said, "Yeah, this looks good. Let's do it." Whatever, but we should do that more often.
Yeah, and I think the threat of being able to run it so effectively was our biggest weapon last year, but I would think they would run it. I mean, the aggressiveness to go for it on fourth down has always been a Sirianni thing, regardless of who his OC was. And if they can execute the tush push, they will. And the tush push is basically it's just our line and our quarterback are stronger than your line, and we're going to assert ourselves. And if they have their offensive line healthy, then why not run it and run it effectively? I'm actually surprised, to be honest with you, that 2 years ago that they were only good on 81% of the times. That's a little
It
shocking
seems
to me.
low
Yeah, it
considering how
does. It
often they
does.
did it, but I think there were a number of cases that they, I don't know, or maybe was it in the Super Bowl? No, that they tried stopping it like three times. Maybe that was the percentage when it was pulled back.
That's the NFC Championship game when
Yeah, that's what
Luvu
it
jumped
was.
over the line like four separate times.
Four, yeah, yeah. And he
Yeah.
said, "Do that again, and we're going to award you some points." No, please do that again. I want to see that shit.
Yeah, we're gonna award the guys a touchdown.
Yeah, I mean, shit. I didn't know that was possible. Looking at the playbook, Dan. Before I wrap it up, I know I keep saying this, whatever it is. What are your feelings on Nick Sirianni? Is he more than the head cheerleader?
I think he's more than a head cheerleader. I give him a lot of credit, actually, that he's been able to
Actually,
keep.
we haven't given him a lot of credit in a while, so this is a good time to
No,
give him
no.
some.
No, I'm giving him credit for the fact that we're finding out that the dysfunction caused by AJ Brown actually is deeper than we thought. I mean, him leaking things to the media, him just basically throwing tangents, whatever it is. I give him a lot of credit for keeping the team together, to be honest with you, and having the type of success that they did win loss record wise. So
Yep.
I give him a lot of credit. I think he's a good team organizer. The team seems to rally around him. I think he is a good coach. Um, I just don't think he's a good play caller. I don't. And I think his scheme,
He knows it. He knows
his
it.
philosophy, his schemes, like his offensive scheme, I don't think is, I'm not to say good. I just don't think it's okay. I will say I don't think it's good. I think his underlying scheme that he had in Indianapolis wasn't that great. Um, so, and I think he recognized it, and that's good because a lot of coaches wouldn't be able to self scout themselves and say, listen, for the betterment of the team, I'm going to take basically a demotion. So I think that's good. But I
Yep.
think he's kind of in the same argument as Hurts is, where he's just disrespected. He's not, he's got one of the highest win loss records of any coach in history. And when you talk about top 5 or 10 coaches in the league right now, he's not even in the honorable mention stat. So I don't know how that's, I don't know how that's
Well,
possible.
just like hers, he's not getting his respect,
Mm-hmm.
his dues. So
No, and I'm glad. I actually am really glad that Hertz is the quarterback and Sirianni's the coach because they have the best personalities to take this crap on. Because a lot of people, after doing all this, Hertz, his stoicness is actually really good for the situation because it's all bullshit. And if it were me and I was a professional player and I saw these lists, I'd go on the next podcast and I'd say, kiss my white ass because that's bullshit. That list is garbage.
I think they do a great job of holding everything in and not leaking or talking to the media, going out on social media, leaving everything internal. I agree with
Everybody
you.
but AJ Brown.
Well, he's not on the team anymore, so fuck him.
Yeah.
So we don't have to worry about it. In fact, I feel really relieved during this podcast is that we haven't talked much about that situation and we're not ranting about it, because I feel that this is, while it's going to come up throughout the season, depending on how well AJ does or Hurts does, and they say, oh, he doesn't have his number one receiver, and yes, he does because he's got Devontae, blah, blah, blah. I think they've held it together. They've done a great job of handling this. I don't think there is anything to worry about Nick being the head coach now or after the foreseeable future. I think even, let's just say he has a shit year, I don't think he has a worry yet. He's done really well. Though we know that even after the year Doug Peterson had of the Super Bowl, the year after that, he was let go. So we know that situation can arise. But I agree with you. I think Hurts and I think Sirianni have done an excellent job. And I think this is the year, and this is, I'm not going to say dynasty, but this is the year it's going to progress. It's going to get much better. So I'm giving high hopes to Sean Mannion that we're going to have an offensive coordinator longer than 1 year.
I think that is an interesting conversation to have next time and I think we've alluded to it before, that if Sean Mannion goes out there and is this offensive genius that everybody says that he seems to be, do you let him walk out the building?
Well, everybody, thank you for watching the Philly Fan Radio.
Exactly.
We're saving that for the next conversation, because I can't answer that yet. I can't answer only for the simple fact is that we haven't had one single game.
It's all hypothetical.
Haven't seen anything yet. It's very, and two, I see. Let's just get past preseason and let's talk about this after the first game. Well, if they have a shitty first game, then we're gonna be like, yeah, let the fucker walk.
Well, should we wait that long? You know, the Philly media is going to be up in arms if in the joint practices.
They're going to rip it apart in
the joint practices. If Jalen Hurts throws an interception, everybody's going to say, "Oh, well, we should put in the Red Rocket. Let's go."
All right, Dan, I got to wrap things up. And before I do, I got to give you your 30 seconds, your thoughts on everything. You ready, Dan? Go.
I am so glad that the NFL is coming back, because honestly, I can't stand watching TV that isn't the NFL. And it's a great time to be an Eagles fan. I think this is going to be one of the more interesting years, because you're going to see a lot of fluctuations, but I really think, I feel that the team is in a good spot. I still think that they have one of the most loaded rosters, and I think that they're going to be good this year. And I think that any writer that justifies putting Jalen Hurts at 17 should not have employment come tomorrow. And I don't care. Please, somebody out there, tell me why I'm full of shit, because I find a credible stat that tells me I'm full of shit, please.
Well, everybody, thank you for watching the Philly Fan Radio. I'm Jon Myer along with Dan Palmieri. And Dan, go Birds.
Go Birds.